Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for the first installment in a brand new series that I'm really excited to share with you. Now this is going to take place, of course, in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and the objective that we will be focusing on is we are going to collect every single Korok seed in the game before doing practically anything else. Now there's a couple of parameters for this that we need to be aware of. First, we have to get the 4 shrines on this plateau because we cannot progress to the rest of the map without collecting those 4 shrines. Additionally, we will not be doing any shrines beyond that, so there's a whole 116 other shrines that we will not be paying any attention to whatsoever until we have all of those Korok seeds collected. And on top of that, we will not be clearing any of the divine beasts until we have all of those Korok seeds collected. So we are going to be doing this challenge on 3 hearts, and the 4 orbs that we exchange in here off the main plateau will be we will be using to get the additional stamina to help us out in our journey. So we've already got our first section of this underway. We've got this tower activated. That will allow us to progress through the main portion of our story here. Now, of course, we've got the main map that distills off of the area or off of this tower as well. This episode of our series is going to mainly be focusing on getting those first 4 shrines. So once we collect our first Korok seed, we can wholly button down and on collecting our Korok seeds until we've got all 900 of them. We will also be doing, where we can, we will be trying to get through this without turning any of them into Hetsu. So we can just walk up to them with a pocket full of 900 Korok seeds. I think that would be pretty funny. So here we are at the bottom of the tower after getting it activated, and of course we get our fetch quest from the old man. And upon chatting with him, he outlines to us that we need to go over and find the Omen Au Shrine. Now, as we make our way over in that general direction, there's a couple of things that you'll want to keep in mind, as they will be quite important and quite helpful to us in our journey. So first off, we're going to go ahead and jump into this pool, mainly because there are a couple of Hyrule bass, and you need at least one of them. If you want to collect more than one, that's fine, but you'll need to collect at least one, as we will be needing that later. So from here, we go ahead and check into the shrine. Now, before we actually get in there, there is one of these Master Mode chests that spawns right next to it. It doesn't have anything super useful, but rubies can be sold for rupees at a later date, which is kind of nice. So from here, we've got our first token, our first emblem, and a very long animation, which effectively voids the warranty of the prehistoric Android device here. So let's go ahead and make some use of our new magnet tool, crush this little sentry over here, especially because if you use elemental environments to your advantage, you can preserve your weapons and don't really have to worry about that being a problem or as much of an issue as it would be otherwise. We use one of those plates from the main first section to create our second land bridge. Don't forget about the chest up here on the shelf, as it does contain a couple of, or it's got that traveler's bow, which is really nice and useful to have. And with that, we have entered the end portion of the shrine here. We greet one of the first 4 monks that we will be meeting, and one of the last as well, at least until we have those Korok seeds tracked down. At this point, the old man changes his side of the bargain, which is a little frustrating, but what are you going to do? Now, before we progress to the second shrine, you will want to go ahead and grab this little iron bit out of the water and take it over to this bog, as you can use it to bridge the gap and grab the contents out of these 2 chests, which is where you can get your first set of fire arrows, and contrastly on the other box you can get your first set of ice arrows. And the ice arrows are going to come in handy right now, because we've got this guy up here on the cliff's edge, and if we freeze him, we can then walk up to him and either bump or smash him down into the pool below, and that conserves a lot of hits on our weapons. And we can actually do the same to both of these guys down here on these platforms. Now, the bow we're using isn't super strong, but we don't need it to be. We're not looking for one-shot kills here. We're just looking to incapacitate these guys, so we throw him off into the water, which takes care of the rest of him. And even though this guy's got full health, bokoblins and moblins can't swim. That's one of their main weaknesses. So as soon as you chuck them into the water, that's the last that you need to worry about. And in this chest, you will actually get a Soldier's Broadsword, attack power 14, which is really handy for the rest of this run here. Now, as we come up to the Jabaish Shrine, we are greeted by a couple of these stall bokoblins, and these are actually really handy enemies to have around, especially this early on in the game, because they are very easy to defeat. You hit them once to knock them apart, you hit them a second time to break down their head, and just like that, you're done, and you can pick up whatever weapons they were carrying, as well as, if you're in a pinch, picking up a couple of bokoblin arms as well, and that will allow you to have a couple of extra weapons on hand with little to no damage done to the weapons that you already possess. So here we've got yet another warranty void that we go through. We go ahead and detonate a couple of bombs to get through the remainder of this dungeon, greet the monk again, and that will allow us to progress on towards the third portion. Now, before we go to the third shrine to unlock our stasis, we do need to come over here to the little forest area. This is backtracking a little bit, but it's important because we need to unalive this boar in order to get some raw meat, which we can then use in conjunction with our Hyrule Bass from earlier, as well as a few of these chilies, which we find in the hut of the old man right here. And those are the three ingredients that we'll need to cook him up a very special dish. Now, there's two of these spicy peppers holding there on the table. I've got terrible manners, so I jump up onto the table to grab the other one. And if you're lucky, you can actually get another pepper or two out of the jars in the corner. Now, I do detour slightly into the ravine here to knock out these bokoblins, because there's a chest that can grant us a spear up on the top here, but also, and what I'm more concerned about, is over here in the back, there is a cave which you can burn down these wooden plates that are sitting in front of it. Once those are burned out, there's actually a chest back behind there, which will grant you your first set of bomb arrows. Do be aware of the courser bees that are up there in the corner, as they are a little bit territorial. In order to take advantage of giving the old man the dish that he's been looking after, we need to first teach him how to cut down this tree. So we go ahead and take a couple of knocks. That frees him up from this space, and he heads back over to his campfire side. So once we're over here at the campfire, we can talk to him. He has to be sitting down on the ground before you can have this conversation with him. And then you can show him the dish that you cooked using your spicy pepper, your Hyrule Bass, and your raw meat, and he will then award you with the warm doublet, which is what we need to conquer the fourth shrine after we get this third one out of the way. If you bomb this wall back here behind, you'll find yet another chest. This is going to grant you more fire arrows, which is quite handy, as one can never have too many elemental arrows on their side. From here, we jump up to the top of this cliff where we encounter the Owadayam Shrine. This is the shrine that grants us stasis. We've got to ward our product warranty again in order to obtain the rune out of this shrine. And a pro tip that you want to be aware of is you can actually cancel the animation on these different items throughout the shrine. That actually cuts down on the cooldown, as you can see here. It didn't fully expire, and that allows us to use and occupy this shrine again, or this rune again, by the time this ball rolls down to the bottom and grants us access to the chest up behind it. One final time, you really only need to tap this thing once or twice. With that, you can go ahead and release it. We don't really need to wait around that long, but it grants us what we need in order to knock that out of the way. Now, as we climb up to the top of the mountain, which is a short walk away, we do walk upon these sleeping bokoblins. They grant us some arrows, which is kind of nice. And then we can go ahead and shield surf down the remainder of this cliff face to make our way over towards that last shrine, which is on top of this little hilltop. But before we jump up there, there's actually another DLC EX chest on top of this rampart. And as we climb up to the top there, we can actually grab its contents. Now, I heard some noise going on back behind me. Apparently, I started a little bit of an avalanche with some snowballs. as I shield surfed down. Now, as soon as we get this EX chest open, we do have the award of more bomb arrows, which is always a good thing to have more of. And we make our way up to the Ke Namut Shrine on top of the hill, and this is the fourth and final shrine that we'll be doing, as it will allow us to access the remainder of the map. So once we're inside this shrine, we void our product warranty for the last time in terms of acquiring our runes. We clear out the shrine, make our way back down to the temple, and claim our stamina wheel. And that is the last that we will be seeing of those spirit orbs for a very long time. So once we have our stamina wheel equipped, we climb up to the top of the temple here, and then we can meet up with the old King of Hyrule, as he tells us a story that we will be glancing over for time purposes here. If you want to know more about it, feel free to play the game on your own, because it's a very fun one. And as soon as he's done telling us his tale, well, he gives us the Paraglider as promised, and that is going to be all we need to unlock the rest of the map. But in our next episode, we will be focusing on all of the Korok seeds that we can find on or near this Great Plateau. So if you enjoy this series, or if you are excited to see more coming your way from here, feel free to smash the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.